Alright, you masters, this is Some-Belgian-prepper, and today I'm going to want to talk about blood transfusions. Well, but before we do that, if you're interested into detective stories, this is the first part of an 11-part series that I wrote. It's in Dutch, it's called Bloody Crosses. If you're interested, look down in the description. Alright, blood transfusions. I've recently been looking into this from the viewpoint of a prepper, and yeah, my first impression was people. I have seen preppers that make it look too easy, and that's not what you want. I'm not a medical expert, but I know enough to know what certain dangers are. It's just not putting a blood bag up and shove it up your arm. No, blood transfusion is something that you need to be very careful about. Not only about diseases that you can carry over from one blood transmission to another, but especially something small like you do not use. You have to know how to use the materials, like with the tubing, that you do not pump too much or too little, or that there are air bubbles coming with the blood transfusion. So to all the preppers who have these how do you say this gear for blood transfusions, but they do not have the medical knowledge, please go look into first aid advanced techniques. Try to find courses for this, or at least try to talk to persons who have experience with this. Why am I talking about this today? Because I've been thinking about this for a small time, and I finally found one. This is a blood type test, and it made me think, because I've seen all these preppers who were talking about blood transfusions, and about they only talked about the gear that they would use, that they would know. It's like they would always know what blood type somebody has and what blood type somebody needs, and it's a little bit more difficult than that. It's not always that clear. You can ask for every emergency response units like ambulances or in the army, that it's not always that easy. If you know, if somebody does not is unconscious and they have not their dog tag or their papers with them with the blood type, or no name, so you cannot look up to access of their medical records. So that could be dangerous, especially in a long-term survival situation or a shit hit the fan situation. So if you're going to do a long-term bug-in, I would actually advise to get one of these blood type tests. Why? Um, if you know your own blood type and of your family, that's one thing. But the problem is, if you have a certain blood type and you cannot, because there is a certain range that some blood types can give to others and some cannot give to others. So that's something that you need to know. So imagine your child is wounded during a shit hit the fan situation or a long-term bug-in survival situation, and you need to get some. You need to give her a blood transfusion. So if you have the gear of the blood transfusion, you will need to find a donor, because in a long-term survival situation, there is a little chance that the professional medicals personnel are available. The infrastructure for keeping blood transfusions or to store them could be very problematic. So in a long-term survival situation or shit in the fan situation, it would probably be a direct transfusion. I would say look it up. There are certain, how do you say this, techniques that you can use, like with directly from a person to person with an intermediate pump between them to get the blood from one person directly into the vein, from the artery of the one person to into the veins of the other person. And yeah, even if you have those things, you need to be sure that that person has the good blood type to save your little child who is now wounded. So that's where this could be handy. If somebody claims he's that kind of a blood type, and you want to be absolutely sure that this person has the right blood type to save your loved one who is having a big hemorrhage, you can do them a little test like this. It's something like a, how do you say this? Because I will not open it because it's a little bit expensive to use it just like that. So it's just for show and tell, to say. But this blood type test is very easily, actually. It's just an aluminum bag with a test plate on it. It's like a card with different kind of blood types. It has a lancet to to prick into your finger and let drop bloods fall on all the test plates. It has a bandage, a pipette, and a mixing stick, and some foil and some information. So with that thing, somebody could pour a few drops of blood on each test, and the test will determine which is the correct blood type. So yeah, you will have to read the information specific about this to do the test before you actually do the test in real life. And yeah, that is a way to know the blood type, and that could be life saving in such dire situations. Or somebody could, if you have the blood bags, you can let somebody take the blood into the bag with from the artery, and you can and hang it up into the vein of the other person. There is more to that than what I'm saying. I make it sound like it's very simple. It's not. Please do not try any of this without having actually been trained into this, or be very carefully if you have the information but not the experience with it, because it could be life threatening if you give the wrong blood type to a certain person. That could start to clot the blood, and it will have a range of medical issues in the aftermath that you will definitely not be able to make better during a shit hit defense situation or a long-term bug-in situation. So yeah, it is just a small video to let you know that this thing exists. If you're interested, I would say try to find some blood, at least try to have one or two blood type tests in your medical preparedness, and that way you can be a little bit more sure. And yeah, so this was just a small video about that, just a small thought, as a little bit food for the brain, and hope you will never need it. But if you, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. All right, so subscribe, I would appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you have, if you know a certain other blood related like with transfusion things that I need to know or to need to look into further. Please let me know. I'm always interested and eager to learn into this kind of type of stuff. Like I said, I'm not a medical expert, but these are things that I'm trying to think about. I try to think about things that I'm not able to do, but I want to try to understand it. And understand it is the first step to start to learn it. So yeah, if you're interested, look in the description for my book. It's in Dutch, by the way. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers!